Jay Jay Okocha wasn't just a footballer. He was a true artist on the pitch. With his silky skills, jaw-dropping dribbles, and fearless flair, he brought joy and magic to the game like few others ever could. A Premier League icon, Okocha's legacy is all about creativity, showmanship, and pure entertainment. But how good was Jay Jay Okocha, really? Let's dive into his journey and find out. Born Augustine Azuka Okocha on August 14, 1973, in Enugu, Nigeria, JJ grew up playing football in the streets, often with makeshift balls. From a young age, it was clear he had something special. He picked up the nickname JJ from his older brother, and before long, he was dazzling local crowds with his incredible talent. Okocha's rise in football wasn't exactly meteoric. It was more of a steady climb. In 1990, he made the move to Germany, joining 3rd Division side Borussia Neunkirchen. It was there that he really started to hone his skills and build a reputation for his breathtaking flair. It didn't take long for bigger clubs to notice. Within a year, he was signed by Eintracht Frankfurt, stepping up to the Bundesliga in a much bigger stage. Between 1992 and 1996, while playing for Frankfurt, Okocha's talent truly began to shine. Defenders were left clueless as he bamboozled them with his mesmerizing footwork and unpredictable moves. One of his most unforgettable moments came in 1993 in a match against Karlsruhe SC. JJ danced past multiple defenders, leaving them flat on the ground, before calmly slotting the ball into the net. The goal was so outrageous, it's still shown in highlight reels to this day. A true showcase of the magic Okocha had in his boots. Despite his brilliance, Okocha's time at Frankfurt wasn't all smooth sailing. The team often struggled in the league, and critics sometimes questioned whether he valued flair over efficiency. But for Okocha, football was never just about winning. It was about entertaining, expressing himself, and bringing joy to the game. His standout performances didn't go unnoticed. In 1993, he earned a call-up to the Nigerian national team, the Super Eagles. It didn't take long for him to become one of their key players. In the 1994 African Cup of Nations, Okocha played a crucial role, pulling the strings in midfield and wowing fans with his creativity. Nigeria went on to win the tournament, and JJ's star continued to rise. Then came the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, a defining moment. Nigeria's dream team made history by winning the gold medal, beating heavyweights like Brazil and Argentina along the way. Okocha was right at the heart of it all, dictating play and showing the world what African football was all about. It was a massive achievement, the first time an African nation had ever won Olympic gold in football. By then, Jay Jay Okocha wasn't just a talented footballer, he was a national hero, a symbol of hope, pride, and unity for a country that saw football as something much bigger than a game. In 1998, after a stint with Fenerbahce in Turkey, Okocha made a record-breaking move to Paris Saint-Germain for around £14 million, a massive fee for an African player at the time. At PSG, he continued to dazzle fans with his creativity and flair, and he found himself playing alongside rising star Ronaldinho. The two quickly clicked on and off the pitch. Okocha became something of a mentor to the young Brazilian, and together they lit up matches with their trickery and flair, often leaving defenders guessing and crowds cheering. But despite their magic, PSG struggled with consistency as a team, which limited Okocha's impact on the bigger European stage. While he consistently wowed with individual brilliance, team success was harder to come by. One of his standout moments at PSG came in the 2001 Intertoto Cup, where he scored 5 goals and helped the club win the tournament, technically making them joint champions with Aston Villa and Troyes AC. It wasn't a major trophy, but it was something. Even without a cabinet full of silverware, Okocha's spellbinding performances more than justified his price tag. And by the time he turned 28, he was ready for a new challenge. So in 2002, he made a surprising move to the English Premier League, signing with Bolton Wanderers. When Okocha signed for Bolton in 2002, many thought his career was winding down. People were puzzled. Why would a player with his outrageous talent move to a club like Bolton? Some even argued that, while his skills were undeniable, Maybe other parts of his game weren't quite up to par. But if that was the narrative, Jay Jay Okocha flipped it on its head. At Bolton, he didn't just thrive. He became a Premier League icon. In a team built around grit and physicality under Sam Allardyce, Okocha brought something completely different: creativity, flair, and a touch of magic. He wasn't just a showman, though. He became a leader. His 2003 to 2004 season was especially memorable. Okocha captained the side to the League Cup final and lit up the campaign with a string of jaw-dropping goals. Whether it was a curling free kick or a dazzling solo run, he gave Bolton fans moments to remember and made sure everyone knew he still had plenty left in the tank. Okocha's Premier League highlights reel is pure legend. Stunning free kicks, outrageous dribbles, and defenders left chasing shadows. But his influence at Bolton went way beyond what he did on the ball. He was a fan favorite, a leader in the dressing room, and someone who brought genuine excitement to the Reebok Stadium. However, his time at the club eventually took a turn. Tensions rose when he was stripped of the captaincy, and rumors started swirling about a potential move to Qatar. Okocha eventually turned down a new contract and made the move, bringing his Bolton chapter to a close. Despite this slightly sour ending, his legacy at the club was never in doubt. In 2017, Bolton fans voted him the greatest player to ever wear the shirt at the Reebok, a fitting tribute to a man who gave him so many unforgettable moments. Okocha's playing style was pure artistry. He had this incredible ability to control the ball, toy with defenders, and pull off skills that seemed almost impossible. Rainbow flicks, roulettes, step-overs, you name it, JJ did it, and he made it all look effortless. But he wasn't just about the flair. He had an eye for a killer pass, a rocket of a shot, and nerves of steel when it came to set pieces. One of his trademarks was his ability to embarrass defenders, whether it was a cheeky nutmeg or a dizzying dribble. He played with a swagger that was straight up contagious. For Okocha, football wasn't just about winning. It was about entertaining. His flair drew constant comparisons to Ronaldinho, and it's no surprise the two shared a deep mutual respect. They played the game with joy, style, and a love for the crowd. While Ronaldinho went on to win the Ballon d'Or and lift the Champions League, Okocha's career stood as a reminder that beauty in football isn't always measured by trophies. For some, looking back on JJ's career brings a sense of what if. Despite his undeniable talent, many feel he never quite achieved what his ability truly deserved. He never won a major European club trophy, and his teams often came up short in the biggest moments. It's a fair question to ask. Why didn't a player as gifted as Okocha reach those highest individual and team accolades? Critics would argue that his love for flair sometimes came at the cost of efficiency. He could overcomplicate things or hold onto the ball a bit too long. But to his fans, those critiques missed the whole point. Okocha played the game the way few dared to, with joy, imagination, and swagger. He wasn't just trying to win matches. He was trying to make people fall in love with the game. And in that sense, he achieved something that stats and trophies can't measure. They simply didn't understand Jay Jay Okocha. Okocha wasn't just a footballer. He was an entertainer, a showman, a magician with a ball at his feet. And it's important to recognize that he played during a time when African players often face systemic bias in European football. Despite being one of the most naturally gifted players of his generation, he didn't always receive the recognition he deserved. But for those who saw him play, who witnessed the magic live, there was no doubt. Jay Jay Okocha's genius was real. His legacy goes far beyond stats, silverware, or awards. It lives in the joy he brought to fans, the defenders he left frozen, and the unforgettable moments that made people fall in love with football all over again. While he didn't collect the same trophy haul as legends like Ronaldinho or Zidane, Jay Jay Okocha still left a mark on football that's entirely his own. His influence echoes through a whole generation of players who celebrate creativity and flair, starting with his protege Ronaldinho at PSG to modern stars like Neymar. In Nigeria, Okocha is more than just a former player. He's a national treasure. He inspired millions with his performances for the Super Eagles, helping to shape the golden era of Nigerian football. His impact on the African game has been truly immeasurable and beyond the continent. He's remembered as one of those rare players who didn't just play football. He made people feel it. He brought joy to the game, reminded fans why they fell in love with it in the first place, and left behind a legacy built not just on goals or trophies, but on pure magic. Jay Jay Okocha may not have been the most decorated player in football history, but when it comes to pure skill and entertainment, he was in a league of his own. He didn't just play football, he expressed himself through it. Whether on the streets of Enugu, in the Bundesliga, League One, or the Premier League, Okocha made the game look like an art form. So, how good was Jay Jay Okocha really? He may not have played for the very biggest clubs, and he didn't collect the major titles that often define greatness. But when it comes to joy, creativity, and the ability to entertain, he was just about as good as it gets. And for many fans, that's what truly matters. Because some players chase trophies, Jay Jay Okocha, he made memories. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more stories about the greats of the game, be sure to check out the other videos on the channel. There's plenty more football magic waiting for you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay on the journey with us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.